This isn't just a battle. It's the moment faith rewrote the future of a nation. What if the story of David and Goliath was never really about the giant? You've heard the story. A boy, a giant, a sling, a victory. But what if I told you that's not the real story? This wasn't just a fight. It was the collapse of fear, the rise of courage, and a divine setup for destiny. This is the untold lesson of David and Goliath. Not the version in your children's books. Not the version that ends at the stone. But the version that will awaken your faith, shake your fears, and transform how you face your own giants. Welcome to a battle that's not just history, it's your story too. Israel trembled. The Philistine army stood like shadows on the hills of Elah. But no shadow loomed larger than Goliath. 9 feet tall, bronze armor that glinted like fire in the sun. A spear so heavy it took 2 men to carry it. Every morning and every night, Goliath stepped forward and screamed, "Choose a man. Let him fight me. If he wins, we will serve you. But if I win, you will be our slaves." And for 40 days, no one moved. Even King Saul, tall and mighty in appearance, stayed hidden in his tent. He once had the spirit of the Lord. Now he had only fear. Israel was a nation paralyzed, not by swords, but by the sound of one voice that made them feel small. And that's what giants do. They speak in fear. They roar with shame. They remind you of every past failure and tell you, "You're not enough." Miles away, a boy was singing, not to crowds but to sheep. His name? David, the youngest of 8 brothers. He wasn't invited to the battlefield. He wasn't even invited to dinner when Samuel came looking for a king. But he was chosen by God. Out in the hills, David wasn't just watching sheep. He was learning to fight lions, bears, fear. And he was learning to trust. He wrote psalms beneath stars. He worshipped in secret. He didn't have an army, he had intimacy with God. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." He didn't know it yet, but faith was forming in the field. The world saw a boy, heaven saw a warrior. Jesse, David's father, asked him to bring food to the battlefield, just an errand. But destiny always hides in the ordinary. David heard the giant scream and saw the army tremble. David, startled, who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? "Brother," mocking, "why are you even here? Go back to your little sheep." But David wasn't speaking from pride. He was speaking from passion. Faith doesn't wait to be invited to the battle. Faith walks in when fear shuts the door. He stood before Saul and said, "The Lord who delivered me from the lion and the bear, he will deliver me from this Philistine." And with no armor, no sword, just 5 smooth stones and a sling, David stepped forward. Goliath laughed. "Am I a dog, that you come at me with sticks?" David, steady. "You come at me with sword and spear, but I come in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, whom you have defied." He didn't shake. He didn't stutter. He sprinted. 1 stone, 1 swing, 1 sound, silence. It wasn't the stone. It was the spirit. David didn't just win the battle. He restored a nation's faith. We remember the sling, but forget the soul. This story isn't about physical strength. It's about spiritual certainty. David didn't fight Goliath because he was brave. He fought him because he was convinced. Convinced that God was with him. Convinced that fear is a liar. Convinced that purpose was more powerful than panic. The battle belongs to the Lord. Goliath represents more than just a warrior. He's every voice in your life that tells you you're not good enough. He's depressed, addiction, rejection, failure. That voice that says, "You'll never make it." But God is saying, you already have what you need. It's not about what's in your hand. It's about who holds your heart. So what's your Goliath? It might not be 9 feet tall, but it might feel impossible. Maybe it's the fear of failing your family. Maybe it's the voice that says you'll never be free from anxiety. Maybe it's debt, or the fear that you're too broken to be loved. But like David, you weren't called to hide. You were called to step forward. You've fought lions in silence. You've worshipped in fields where no one noticed. You've wept in places where no one clapped. And now God says it's your time. You've been faithful in private. Now I will use you in public. Your weapon, faith. Your armor, worship. Your strength, God. David didn't just defeat a giant, he ignited a movement. He showed us that faith is louder than fear, that obedience opens doors to victory, and that God doesn't need the biggest, just the most willing. So what if your battle is your beginning? What if the very thing you fear is the path to your crown? If you're facing your own Goliath today, don't back down. Don't let fear have the final word. Leave a comment below, "I will face my giant." Like this video if it moved you. Subscribe to this channel for more powerful faith stories. And share this with someone who needs courage right now. This was the real story of David and Goliath, the untold faith lesson. Remember, the stone was never the hero. Faith was.